So when I originally was reading this chapter 1 and 2, I was like, there's stuff in here, but there was like no meat. And I was like, how are we going to have a whole conversation and a seminar course with this little piece, right? But then as I was reading through it, I had a thought of, I have to use the military because that's what I know. When we made rank and I was becoming a leader, their mindset was, I can't change the E9 who's about to retire or the E8 or the E6, but you E5s are now becoming the soon-to-be future leader. So what we start now, as we grow, we'll push out the old and bring in the new, and then start teaching us and, people from when they start coming in the military. So back then it was like, sexual assaults were really high, sexism, racism, things of that nature. So retraining the mindset. And I wonder, like, when we look at those who were in power, I remember when recycling became big in like the 80s, and I was in like middle school and they were doing all the education, but they weren't doing it before. And when they did, it was more fear mongering. So people didn't really deal with it, but they were including and teaching ways like, yes, this sucks, but we can do these things to make it better. So I'm wondering if those of us who are at the age we are now, we're in leadership positions, but we're not technically in senior positions, whether it's in politics, industry, education institutions, we're now getting in those. So I'm wondering if as we push out the older, will the new mindset about recycling and individualism become more of a industrialism kind of mindset? But if this is happening, at what point was it so late that instead of being able to recover, we're trying to sustain so that we can give time for things to rebuild, because things will take a while in the reading. And so having to think of that one and still be hopeful, and then remembering that why are we reading how to teach, right? But at the end of the day, whether I want to or not, I am a teacher. Somebody's always watching, somebody's always listening. Of course, our kids are, but we influence the people in our circle. And so in learning to teach others, we are indirectly learning behaviors and practices to share with those in our inner circle who we taught them whether we were trying to or not. And I was like, oh, well done. I see what's happening here. And so those were my main ones. And then also it's intriguing because I'm also doing public health. So when you talk about a bias here versus when you talk about a bias there, it's the same word, but it can have different meanings, and the importance of clear, concise communication so that everybody's on the same page whenever you do interdisciplinary work. And so that's what I got from reading chapter 1 and chapter 2 of teaching the environment, climate change, and things of that nature.